All right, 2020. What a crazy year, Shauna.
Yes.
First game that you beat this year was Mickey. Let's see if I can remember this right. Mickey and Minnie's Great Circus Mystery.
You have those flipped. The Great Circus Mystery starring Mickey and Minnie Mouse.
The Great Circus Mystery starring Mickey and Minnie Mouse. I know that this isn't your first time beating this game.
No.
But what was it about this game that made you want to keep coming back to it?
Well, I think it's just a simply perfect game.
Do you think it would still be that perfect game for you if it didn't use Disney IP? If Capcom, who made it was made by Capcom, I believe, right?
Yes.
If they had used an original IP for the game, do you think it would still hold the same appeal to you as opposed to the fact that it uses Disney IP?
Well, the reason why it's Disney is why I even picked it up.
Uh-huh.
So that's basically a selling point, the fact that it's Disney. But it's not because it's Disney that it's good, because Pocahontas for the Game Boy is the worst game I ever played in my whole life.
Okay.
So the fact that it's Disney has nothing to do with if it's a good game.
Right.
That's just something that will make you play it, probably.
Right. You were also attracted to Kingdom Hearts for the PlayStation 2 because it had Disney characters in it.
Yes.
And so I never thought of this question before, but do you think this game is actually better than Kingdom Hearts?
I do have an opinion on this, but I don't think a single person would agree with me.
Oh, well, that's
I
what
think
I
it's
hear.
better than Kingdom Hearts because I didn't really like Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
I tried to like it and I wanted to like it.
Right. I was just curious. I know this review's not about Kingdom Hearts, but that just kind of popped into my head and I kind of wanted to hear your opinion on it.
I like it more because it's simple.
Yeah.
And it's playable.
Okay.
And the platforming is right.
Okay.
Which is important for a platformer.
Well, that actually ties into my next question, which is, on the Super Nintendo, there is hundreds, possibly thousands of platformers for that console. What was it about this game that made it stand out more to you than all those other platformers that have been released for the Super Nintendo?
The co-op.
The co-op?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
That's why.
There's other platformers that have co-op in it, though.
Well, I haven't played them.
Do you feel like there was a difference between, both graphically and technically, between playing it single player versus playing it multiplayer? Or co-op?
I think the fact that I have to think really hard if there's any frame rate issues is a testament that it didn't have any.
Okay.
Because I can't think of in any moments where it was like, oh, frame rate. Playing co-op. So I believe the performance of the co-op is exactly the same as a single player. There's just another player.
What do you think about the sound effects in the game as well as the music for it?
Sound effects are good.
Okay.
Sound effects are important to me.
Absolutely.
And
in any game.
Yeah, and I have no complaints about sound effects. They're very Super Nintendo noises.
Okay.
Like
I
jumping. Know what you mean. Yeah. The music's really good. I think every song is a good song. None of them annoy me. The graphics are the beautiful, colorful graphics that the Super Nintendo is known for.
Green grass, blue skies, white clouds,
Yep.
all that jazz. What did you think about like your enemies and also the boss fights? Do you feel like they were innovative, interesting? I actually can't recall any of the enemies from the game, except for maybe Pete, Big Pete.
Well, he's a final boss.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, what did you think about the boss fights as well as the enemies in the levels?
I think the whole game was fair. You can beat the whole game in an hour or less. I think the enemies are fine.
So not everything in the game is technically Disney related, right? A lot of stuff.
No, there's made up stuff, of course.
Right.
The only Disney stuff is the characters.
Right. Was every boss a Disney IP?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Interesting.
Nope. The only Disney IP was Pete, Mickey and Minnie, Donald and Goofy make an appearance.
Okay.
And Pluto.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with any of the enemies. They're all good.
Good. So if you were to think really, 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 really hard, what are some ways that you think Capcom could have improved this game?
There's only one complaint, and I think it's minor. And that is one of the costumes, which is the horse riding costume that shoots.
Okay.
It's the projectile costume. And the only reason why I have a complaint about that is the jumping is kind of strange. You have to time your jumps. When you have that costume on, your character is always jumping.
Okay.
That's just how it moves. But to make it actually jump. So basically once your character hits the floor, then you jump.
Kind of like a trampoline.
Just like a trampoline.
You had mentioned something that stood out to me. You said that you felt like the game was fair. I think I know what you mean, but just to clarify, what would be an example of a game that would be unfair?
Cheap boss fights where maybe the boss doesn't have a pattern, or when you die, you have to start the game over.
Mm-hmm.
You don't in this game.
Really?
When you die, you start the level over. Unlimited continues.
That is good for a Super Nintendo
Which
game.
is why it's super beatable.
Uh-huh. So
It's got a password system.
Oh, it does? Okay. Well, that's
But
worth it.
that's not necessary unless you want to play it in 10-minute increments or something. If you die in that game, it's your fault. You weren't being careful. And that's why I think it's fair.
So you don't have to actually memorize the whole game. You can
No, you don't need to memorize the game.
Right, okay. For your final score, with 10 being perfect and 1 being abysmal, how would you rate The Great Circus Mystery starring Mickey and Minnie Mouse?
I think I'm going to give it a 9.7. And those 0.3 points that I'm deducting are just for that horse costume. The co-op in this game is what gives it the best rating, because if I play it single player, it's just a fun Super Nintendo game, but playing co-op is what makes it awesome, because you don't hurt each other. It's really rare that you could kill each other. The only time is when the screen is moving.
If your partner dies, do you die as well?
No.
Okay.
You have your own lives, you have your own currency and points. I just think it's a really well-made, well-put-together game. It wasn't thrown together and has Disney's name slapped on it. I think it's a great Capcom Disney collab that don't know if they could do it again.